So today we will be covering the sexual reproduction part. Yesterday we have just gave an introduction to a sexual reproduction in croplands, and now today we will be seeing the sexual reproduction. So sexual reproduction, we all know that it happens only when the gametes gets fused, and which leads to the formation of embryo, and that embryo will develop into a sporophyte. So in sexual reproduction, the two things that we need to keep in mind is first microsporogenesis and second megasporogenesis. Can anyone tell me what do you mean by sporogenesis? What do you mean by sporogenesis?
It may be megaspore or microspore both.
Means what is the meaning of sporogenesis?
Sir, it is basically a reduction process in which we get from diploid to haploid condition.
You want to tell that it is the process of formation of spore.
Yes, sir. Both either microspore or megaspore.
Okay, microspore or megaspore. So what do you mean by microspore and megaspore?
Sir, microspore basically means pollen, which contain male gamete.
Okay, microspore is pollen. May I know your name?
Sir, Navneet.
Okay, Navneet. So what do you mean by megaspore, Navneet?
Sir, megaspore basically refers to ovule.
Ovule, entire ovule. Okay, so
No, sir. No, sir, egg cell.
egg cell. Okay, egg cell. Any other guys want to add anything? So we just discussed that sporogenesis is the process of formation of spore. It might be your megaspore or it also might be your microspore. So microspore is pollen and megaspore is egg cell. So Navneet, you said that it undergoes some type of division. What is the division?
Sir, meiosis.
Meiosis. So what does this meiosis do? Means in which way it helps to form the spore?
Sir, from diploid, either microspore mother cell ploidy condition is diploid. And
Okay.
after meiosis, four haploid cells, that is microspores are formed. Similar in case of a female, the megaspore mother cell is diploid, but
Okay.
four megaspores are formed which are haploid, in which three get degenerated and ultimately one become
So
functional.
you want to tell that from the diploid stage, it ultimately goes to haploid.
Yes, sir.
So it is the meiosis process. So meiosis process helps in the formation of micro and megaspore, right?
Yes, sir.
So no mitosis involved.
Sir, in case of female, they after meiosis, mitosis occur results in formation of egg cell.
Okay. So in case of microsporogenesis, is mitosis involved or not?
Sir, meiosis 2 is basically a mitosis.
No. You said that in megasporogenesis, mitosis is involved. Okay. So what about microsporogenesis?
No, sir, I don't think, because only four cells are formed from single microspore mother cell.
Okay, four cells are formed from single microspore mother cell and no mitosis is involved in microsporogenesis. We will see how the microsporogenesis it goes on, okay? So before directly jumping into that microsporogenesis and megasporogenesis, you know what do you mean by alternation of generations? Any idea? Anyone? Come on, you can unmute and speak to me or you can write in the chat box. What do you mean by alternation of generation?
A plant having both haploid and diploid phase in same generation, I think.
Okay, you are right, but what do you call that haploid stage and what do you call that diploid stage?
I don't know.
Okay, so have you heard the terms sporophytic stage and gametophytic stage?
Yes, sir. In study class, we have discussed about it, sporophyte and gametophyte.
Yeah, see, it is the same concept that we need to apply here. Just alternations of generations, which mean it generally revolves between these two. You know that zygote is in 2n condition, right?
Yes, sir.
And spore,
Haploid.
okay, haploid. So can we call this zygote as a starting point of sporophytic stage?
Yes, sir.
And spore will be,
Gameto. Gameto.
okay, so zygote forms, and if it ends with spore, this we call it as sporophytic stage. Okay,
Yes, sir.
sporophytic stage. And from this sporophytic stage and again to the formation of zygote, we generally call it as gametophytic stage.
Yes, sir.
And alternation between these two different types of stages, this concept is known as alternation of generations. Okay, hope you understood. So just from
Yes, sir.
diploid stage, if we enter into haploid stage, it completes one sporophytic stage, and from haploid stage to zygote, it completes the gametophytic stage. The questions will be in the form like that. Uh, Gametophytic stage, it starts with which phase? The gametophytic
Spore.
stage, spore. So it starts with spore or haploid. Okay, haploid
Yes.
phase, and it ends with,
Formation of zygote, that is diploid phase.
yeah, zygote or diploid phase. Similarly, what you call sporophytic stage, it starts with your zygote or diploid phase, and it ends with your spore or haploid phase. So are you clear about the alternation of generation?
Yes,
And
sir.
now, yeah, okay. And now we will see sporogenesis in the first microsporogenesis. See, microsporogenesis, it generally involves one meiosis and two mitosis. Okay,
Yes.
ultimately to produce, ultimately to produce what?
Microspore, that is pollen.
Ultimately to produce the male gametes. Okay, okay.
Yes, sir.
So just pollen grain can be produced just after one meiotic division. So one meiotic division, it results in how many cells?
Four.
So from what do you mean by PMC? PMC, it undergoes one meiotic division to produce four cells which are in the form of a tetroid. Okay, and all these four cells mature and lead to the formation of your pollen grain. So what do you call this PMC?
Pollen mother cell.
Pollen mother cell. Guys, other guys, please respond. Pollen mother cell. What will be the condition of this pollen mother cell in terms of genome content? What will be its phase?
Diploid.
Yeah, diploid. So it is 2n. So we all know that meiosis is a form of reduction division. So 2n, it ultimately leads to the formation of how many n?
Four.
Four different cells which are in haploid phase, right?
Yes.
So up to this, the pollen grain or microspore, it is formed, and this pollen grain or microspore, it is surrounded by two different types of layers. The outer layer
Exine and
is known as exine, yes, and the inner layer is known as intine. See, even these questions are also being asked in the JRF. So please remember, exine, it is the outer layer, and intine is the inner layer of what?
pollen.
Pollen. So exine and intine. And then we all know that this is a single cell which is in a phase we call haploid, and now it generally gets divided by one mitotic division and leads to the formation of two different cells. In these two different cells, one cell we generally call it as the vegetative cell. Okay, the larger one is vegetative cell, and the other, which is small, we generally call it as generative cells. And again, this generative cell is the one which undergoes second mitotic division, and it forms two other cells. What do you call these two other cells?
Male gamete.
Yeah, these are known as male gametes. So male gamete is the one, right, which generally fuses with the egg. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So why did it produce two male gametes? One is enough to
One
fuse with
fuses
egg.
with polar nuclei.
So one fuses with polar nuclei. Okay. So is it necessary to fuse with polar nuclei? Why? What is the result of this fusion?
Endosperm.
Endosperm production. Okay. So what happens when male gamete fuses with egg? It leads to formation of
Zygote.
zygote. Yeah. Please remember that there was a question given. Egg cell, when it fused with sperm, it leads to production of zygote or embryo. What do you choose?
Sir, please repeat question.
Zygote.
Okay, wait a minute. When the sperm or the male gamete, if it fuses with your egg cell, it produces zygote or it produces embryo. What do you choose?
Sir, zygote.
Okay, zygote. So please remember, this was also one of the question in JRF. The first formed is your zygote. Zygote ultimately develops into
MTU.
embryo, and the nourishment for the embryo, what nourishes the embryo?
Endo,
Endosperm nourishes the
endosperm.
embryo. Yeah. So now you understood why the pollen, it ultimately results in the formation of two male gametes.
Yes, sir.
So who nourishes the male gametes then?
Sir, I think it might get nourishment from this outer layer of pollen or in styler region or
See,
stigma
the
region of.
two male gametes, they generally get nourishment from the vegetative nucleus. Okay.
Okay.
So two male gametes get nourishment from the vegetative nucleus, and embryo gets nourishment from the endosperm. So immediately after the pollen landing on the stigma, it generates a tube-like structure, and we generally call it as the pollen tube. Hope you understand up to this process. So we discussed about microsporogenesis. It involves one meiotic division and two mitosis in order to form two male gametes. Okay. So question might come in this manner that a plant has ultimately produced 40 male gametes. So how many meiotic division did it undergo? You can answer and you can also type in the chat box.
20.
20. Okay. Any other answer? 20. Do everyone agree with 20? 20. Okay, Vijaya got a 20. Okay, so 40 male gametes has been produced ultimately by a plant, and the total number of pollen mother cell will be 20, and total number of meiotic division will be 20, and what do you call, how many pollen grains were formed? So pollen mother cell is 20 and meiotic division is 20. So what about the condition of pollen grains? How many pollen grains were formed? Hello? Come on, you can answer. You just said that 40 male gametes, 20 meiotic division, and 20 pollen mother cells. So how many pollen grains? Yeah, anyone answer, we will proceed. So how many pollen grains? See, one pollen grain, it leads to the formation of two male gametes, right? Am I correct?
Yes, sir.
Nehala, 100 pollen grains. Okay. See, one pollen grain lead to the formation of two male gametes, and then we eventually got 40 male gametes. So how many pollen grains? Sir, it's 10 meiotic division. Okay. Now I'm just asking, if one pollen grain leads to the formation of two male gametes, then how many pollen grains will produce 40 male gametes? How many pollen grains are required to produce 40 male gametes? Okay, 20. So 20. And from one pollen mother cell, if we produce 4 pollen grains, so 20 pollen grains will be produced from how many pollen mother cells? 5. So hope you now understood. So for the production of 40 male gametes, how many pollen mother cells do you require? You can unmute and please answer. Anyone? To produce 40 male gametes, how many do you require? 5 pollen mother cells. Yeah. Or you can type in the chat box, or as many others are typing. So please do remember, these type of questions are very common. So for the production of 40 male gametes, you require 5 pollen mother cells. So if you require 5 pollen mother cells, how many meiotic division does it require to produce 40 male gametes then? How many meiotic divisions will be required to produce 40 male gametes? Anyone? Hello? Hello, am I audible?
Sir,
Yeah. See, if you require,
sir,
tell me.
if if there are 5 TMC, then all undergo meiotic division. Therefore, 5 meiotic division.
So only 5 meiotic division. So 5 meiotic division is responsible for production of 40 male gametes, right?
Yes, sir. It form 20 pollen, and 20 pollen form 40 male gamete.
So hope everyone understood it. If not, you please write in the chat box. We will again discuss it. If anyone did not get it, so write in the chat box. Sir, I did not understood the concept. We'll again discuss it. Understood this? For the production of 40 male gametes, we require 5 pollen mother cells, and these 5 pollen mother cells undergo 5 meiotic divisions to produce how many pollen grains? Yeah, 5 meiotic divisions will
20.
produce, okay, 20 pollen grains, and 20 pollen grains will produce how many male gametes?
40.
40. So hope everyone understood. If not, please do mention in the chat box. We will discuss it again. Right. So hope everyone is clear about these divisions. See, these questions are very common in JRF. So microsporogenesis, it requires one meiotic division plus two mitotic divisions. And they may also confuse you by giving the terms meiosis as the reduction division. And what do you call mitosis? Which division it is?
Equational division.
Yeah, equational division. Equational division. Okay, so they may also give you these terms and they might confuse you. So now we saw about the meiotic division. So tell me, for the production of 40 male gametes, how many equational divisions do you require?
20.
20. Why? Two male gametes require how many equational division or mitotic division? One results in
1.
two male
2
gametes, right?
milligram.
So 40 male gametes require how many mitotic or equational divisions? 20. Am I right? Anyone? So hope you understood, right? Okay. So I think everyone understood this entire concept. So one meiotic division leads to formation of 4 pollen grains, and pollen grain, it undergoes 2 mitotic divisions here and ultimately lead to the formation of 2 male gametes. So this is microsporogenesis. And you guys also
Sir,
need to know, yeah,
sir, what is function of tube nucleus?
tube nucleus. Yeah, see the, you know, stamen, it consists of both anther and filament, right?
Yes, sir.
So what do you mean by pistil?
Sir,
Stamen,
it is
stamen is the male reproductive
car-
organ in plants. So
yes,
pistil
sir.
is
Female
female.
reproduction.
So what does pistil comprises of?
Stigma, style, ovary.
So stigma, style, and ovary. Stigma, style, ovary. Just give a minute. I'll finish. Okay. So stigma, style, and then the ovary. So immediately after the pollen grain, it falls on the stigma. It need to develop the tube so that it reaches the ovule, right?
Yes, sir.
So that is the function of the pollen tube. Okay. And tube nucleus, I said it is nothing but said to be the vegetative cell. Okay. The remaining vegetative nucleus, vegetative cell. What is the function of it? I told you the function of the tube nucleus.
Formation of pollen tube.
No. Pollen tube forms. Along with it, it also nourishes the male gametes. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So see, in case of female reproductive organ, that is pistil, ovary, it is situated on the plant itself. So plant, it nourishes the what do you call pistil and ultimately the ovary. But in case of
Yes,
pollen grain, it should detach from the anther, it should days from the anther, it should travel all the way to reach the stigma. So it detached from the plant, and then the pollen grain, it has the male gametes. So male gametes need the nourishment, okay, in order to
Yes,
live.
sir.
So this nourishment is provided by vegetative nucleus, and it also helps in the formation of the tube so that the male gametes ultimately reaches the ovule, fertilize egg, fertilize the polar nuclei, ultimately lead to the formation of zygote, zygote to embryo, and endosperm. Endosperm nourishes the embryo, and the vegetative cell, it nourishes the male gametes, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, hope you are clear about microsporogenesis, everyone. So microsporogenesis is clear. You can just write in the chat box. Okay, I'll then proceed to the megasporogenesis. If anyone is not clear, they can raise their hand. I'll explain it. Is it okay? We will skip to, or we will move to megasporogenesis. Hello?
Yes, sir.
Okay, we'll move to megasporogenesis, right? Okay. See, megasporogenesis. And megasporogenesis, it involves one meiosis and three mitotic divisions. There is one peculiar character in megasporogenesis. Similar to microspore mother cell, there is a megaspore mother cell. It undergoes one meiotic division and leads to formation of how many cells? 4 cells. Among these 4 cells, the first 3 cells, they become degenerative, which means they become non-functional, okay? And only the fourth one, which is remaining, it undergoes another 3 mitotic divisions. So one mitotic division leads to formation of 2 cells, and second mitotic division leads to the formation of 4, and third it leads to the formation of 8. Among the 8 cells formed, the 3 move to one pole, 3 move to the other pole, and the 2 they are remained in the middle. What do you call these two?
Polar nuclei.
Polar nuclei. So some may also call these as secondary nucleus. Okay, and these are two polar nuclei. And along with two synergids, there is one another cell which is most important. What do you call this cell? The egg cell. And the other three
Excel.
are known as the antipodal cells, right? So where do the embryos get nourishment from? What nourishes the embryo sac? Come on, you need to answer. Nucellus, yeah.
Hmm.
Nucellus is the part which nourishes the embryo sac. So please, these are very, very important questions. One, where does the male gamete gets its nourishment? Two, where that the embryo gets its nourishment? Three, where that the embryo sac gets its nourishment? So please be aware about these three questions. So one meiosis followed by 3 mitotic divisions. So can I say one reductional division plus 3 equational divisions?
Yes, sir.
Hello? It's okay. One reductional division plus 3 equational division ultimately lead to the formation of embryo sac, right? Embryo sac. Right, everyone clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So just tell me, for the production of one egg cell, how many pollen mother cells are required?
1.
No, 0.
No, sir, no, sir. It's mega spore mother cell, not pollen mother cell.
Yeah. So what will be the answer?
0. PMC
Zero.
doesn't
So
have
PMC,
any role in this.
yeah, so 0. So for production of 1 egg cell, there is no requirement of the pollen mother cell. So for the production of 1 egg cell, how many megaspore mother cells are required?
One.
So 1. And can you tell me then, a plant ultimately produced 3 egg cells, okay? Then how many cells were degenerated cells?
9.
9. How? How 9? So for the production of 1 egg cell, 3 cells, they undergo non-functional nature. So for the production of 3 egg cells, we require 9 cells to be non-functional, right? And then, so the next question is, a plant ultimately produced 10 egg cells. So how many mitotic divisions take place? 10 egg cells and how many mitotic divisions?
30.
How many? How many mitotic divisions? No, you are not audible. Speak a bit loud. How many mitotic divisions do we require for the production of 10 egg cells?
30.
30, yeah, right. 30 mitotic divisions. Good. And there might also be changing the questions, like a plant, it ultimately produced 40 synergids. So how many mitotic divisions do you require? 40 synergids. So how many mitotic divisions?
20.
20. How can you say it is 20?
Sir, as by each MMC produces 2 synergids.
So each MMC, it produces 2 synergids. Okay. For the production of 2 synergids, you require 3 mitotic divisions, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So ultimately, our plant produced 40 synergids. So how many mitotic divisions do you require then? Is your answer 20 even now? 60, 60,
60.
60. So 3 mitotic divisions, it produces 2 synergids. So 40 synergids require 40 into 3 by 2. So it is 60. Am I right now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So questions will be in this form. So you need to remember how many synergids or how many antipodals and what are the divisions involving. See, one reductional division followed by 3 equational division. That is one meiotic division followed by 3 mitotic divisions. So this completes our megasporogenesis along with the microsporogenesis. So how many divisions do you require in microsporogenesis? In microsporogenesis, how many divisions do you require?
1 meiosis and 2 meiosis.
1 meiosis, 2 mitosis.
Okay, 1 meiosis and 2 mitosis. And can I say it has 2 equational plus 1 reductional, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Then what about megasporogenesis? Tell me in terms of equational and reductional.
1 reductional and 3 equational divisions.
So what is the ratio of reductional division in both microsporogenesis and megasporogenesis?
1:1.
1:1. Okay. So questions might also be framed in this way. So in form of ratios, in the form of divisions, they will just give you how many number of cells, like synergids or antipodals, and X cells. They will ask you how many meiosis and how many mitotic division. Okay. So one last question is,
Sir,
a
please
plant produce.
explain last
Yes.
question, sir.
Which one? The
Sir,
ratio
last
question.
question.
Ratio.
Yes, sir.
Okay. See,
Yes, sir.
what is the ratio of reductional division in microsporogenesis and megasporogenesis? In microsporogenesis, how many reductional division do you want to produce the male gametes?
1.
One.
One.
In megasporogenesis, how many reductional division do you want to produce one X cell?
One.
One. Good. So question might also be in this form. For the production of one endosperm tissue, what is the ratio of microsporogenesis and megasporogenesis in terms of reductional division? One endosperm. Reductional division.
Same question, sir.
Same question, but for the formation of one endosperm tissue, how many reductional division do you see in microsporogenesis and megasporogenesis? Anyone? Or you can write in the chat box.
Sir, 1:1.
1:1, right? So for the production of endosperm, you require male gamete as well as you require the, what do you require?
Female.
One male gamete, not the female gamete. We require the polar nuclei
Polar
or secondary
nuclei.
nuclei or the central cells. So please do remember this. And the other thing is antipodals are located in the chalazal end and the synergids are located in the micropolar end. Okay. Do remember this. This might be one of the important questions. So hope everyone are now clear about microsporogenesis and megasporogenesis and what are the different divisions involved in it and how many divisions are involved in it. Okay. So we just covered microsporogenesis and megasporogenesis. And now we'll enter into the pollination chapter. So what do you mean by pollination? What is pollination?
Transfer of pollen
Why
grains
do?
from anther to stigma.
Okay, so one question is, why do other three megaspores degenerate? See, no one can answer this question because scientists discovered that among the four cells that are formed from the megaspore mother cell, three got degenerate and only one is active. And that one active cell, it undergoes three mitotic divisions and lead to the formation of your embryo sac. Okay, we don't know why the three are degenerative, but among the four, only one is active. Okay, is it okay? Yeah. And so, what do you mean by pollination? Yeah,
Transfer
anyone?
of pollen grains from anther to stigma.
Transfer of the pollen grains from anther to.
Anther.
Just a minute. Yeah, transfer of the pollen grains from anther to stigma. So, how many types of pollinations are available in crop plants? One is autogamy, two is allogamy, and three is alloautogamous. See, autogamy, what we call is self-pollination. and allogamy, it is cross pollination. You can simply remember auto. Auto, the meaning of the word auto itself is self, and the meaning of allo itself is, what is the meaning of allo?
Different.
Yeah, different. So different. Just remember in this term that autogamy is self, gamy pollination, and allogamy different, which is nothing but your cross pollination. So let me tell you one thing. There is a plant and there is a flower, one anther and one stigma. If the pollen falls from the anther to stigma, what is this type of pollination? Is it cross or is it self?
Self.
Why?
Same plant.
Okay, so same plant. So now consider this condition. There is a plant, there is a flower, only one anther, and in the other flower, there is the stigma. Then what do you call this pollination? Do you call self or do you call
Self.
cross? Self. So any
Self pollination.
particular term? Okay. So any particular term to this?
Getinogamy.
Yeah, getinogamy.
Monoecious.
Monoecious. Which one? This one or this one? Which is monoecious?
Sir, different flower on same plant.
So this one. This one is monoecious.
Yes. Yes.
What? So what do you call this one then?
Both are
It
monoecious.
is self.
Hermaphrodite. Hermaphrodite.
Or hermaphrodite or still?
Bisexual.
Yeah, bisexual. Hermaphrodite or bisexual. Both are correct. So a question can be in these terms that bisexual plants always perform self-pollination. Is it correct?
Sir,
Hermaphrodite flower.
cross pollination also occurs up to 5%.
Yeah, it might be possible, right? Cross is also possible, but predominantly they follow self-pollination. Okay. So hermaphrodite flowers always follow self. Always is a wrong statement to make. And what about monoecious? Chance is also there for cross-pollination in monoecious, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So getinogamy, how do you define transfer of pollen from the anther of same plant to the stigma of same plant, but they are located in different flowers, right? Is it okay?
Yes, sir.
So transfer of the pollen from anther of one flower to the stigma of the other flower on the same plant. This mechanism is known as your getinogamy. And you know about cross pollination. Just if the anther transfers from what do you call, the pollen transfers from this anther to this stigma or from this anther to this stigma, we call it as cross pollination. And see, all the self pollinated plants, there is no 100% self pollination every time. Am I right? In all the self pollinated plants.
Yes, sir.
So 100% self pollination is not possible. Am I right? Anyone? In all the plants,
Yes, sir.
sir, some references say getinogamy is under cross pollination. Is that true? Yeah, genetically it is cross pollinated, but in case of mechanism, they say it is self pollinated. Okay. Some people or some books say genetically it is both cross and self, but don't consider it under cross pollination. Consider it under the self pollination because it is on the same plant. That is what we want. It is on the same plant. Yeah. So now the question is 100% self pollination. Can it be possible? So someone said, no, no, no. Yeah. See, is 100% self pollination possible? No.
There are some exceptions, sir, like in Clistogamous flower, it is 100%.
Okay, Clistogamous. We will discuss the Clistogamous flower later. See, tell me, anyone, can they tell me one crop where 100% self-pollination is possible every time? This might be one of the question to your JRF. 100% self-pollination is possible every time. But they can type in the chat box. There is one plant where 100% self-pollination is possible. Okay. Did anyone hear about a plant name Harachis hypogaea? What do you call this?
Peanut.
Peanut or
Groundnut.
groundnut. Peanut, groundnut. Any other name? Monkey nut. See, in case of your Arachis hypogaea, where is the flower located? The flower is located at the top, right? It is an yellow color flower which is located at the top.
Yes, sir. Yes,
But
sir.
yeah, but where is the fruit formed?
Beneath the ground.
Inside.
Yeah, inside, and hence it is known as the groundnut because the fruit is in the ground, right? So this is the only plant which ensures 100% self-pollination, and till date there is no hybrid in the groundnut. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So do you agree? Yeah. And see, the other type of pollination is alloautogamous, often cross-pollinated. How do you define these often cross-pollinated plants?
When cross in 5 to 30%.
Okay, when cross-pollination is up to 5 to 30%. The extent is up to 5 to 30%, right? So they are predominantly self-pollinated. Okay, but 5 to 30% cross-pollination may occur. So these are known as your often cross-pollinated or alloautogamous. There is one repetitive question in JRF that mention an oil seed which follows alloautogamous type of pollination. What is that oil seed crop?
Safflower.
Yeah, safflower. Safflower is the oilseed crop. And what do you call the scientific name of safflower? Scientific name of safflower, what do you call it? Anyone?
Parthemus tinctorius.
Yeah. So please do remember the scientific name also. And someone answered that cotton. See, cotton is also often cross-pollinated, but thing is that in breeding or in PGR, we classify cotton under fiber, okay? Even though it is an oil, we can produce oil, but it is classified under fiber. The oilseed crop, which pollinates through open cross-pollination mechanism, is your safflower. And can you tell some of examples for self-pollination? The examples are most important thing in this chapter. I told you in the earlier class also. So, what are the examples for self-pollination?
Paddy.
Okay, paddy. Still,
Wheat. Tomato.
wheat, tomato, potato.
Groundnut.
Yeah, groundnut. Okay, still paddy, wheat, tomato, groundnut, ragi. Yeah, ragi. Just to remember that.
Barley.
Barley. Yeah, good. What about your pulses? Do they come under?
Cowpea. Soybean.
Yeah. See, most of the pulses are predominantly self-pollinated. Okay. Do remember this. And in self-pollination, we also discussed about getinogamy. What is the example of this getinogamy? Where you will see two different flowers, the monoecious condition. What is the example of getinogamy?
Maize. Maize.
Yes, right. What is the scientific name?
Zea maize.
Yeah, see. Along with the scientific name, guys, please do also remember the chromosome number of the crops. Even it is important. You can gain marks. Okay, maize, Zea maize. What is the chromosome number of Zea maize? Tell me the
14.
diploid.
2n equals to 14.
14. Is 14 right? Maize.
20, sir.
Yeah, it's 20. So please do correct. 20 is the diploid chromosome number of the maize. Okay. And what are the examples of your cross pollination then? Cross pollinated crops.
Maize,
Maize,
cucurbits, papaya, date palm, peanut.
peanut,
Spinach, palak.
spinach. Okay, spinach. Right. Okay. And what is
Sugar
the
cane, mango.
yeah, mango, sugarcane. Yeah, these are sugarcane. It is a field crop, and mango is a fruit crop. Good. So examples for off and cross. These are very important.
Sorghum, triticale, rye, pigeon pea, tobacco.
PGNP, tobacco, cotton, and see
Cotton.
sugarcane. Yeah, sugarcane is also included under the examples of your off and cross pollinated. Okay, so the most important examples are sorghum, followed by cotton, followed by pigeon pea, and followed by tobacco. Hope you know the scientific name of sorghum. What is the scientific name of sorghum?
Swargam bicolor.
Bicolor.
What do you mean by cotton? See, cotton, there are 4 different types of cotton. Everyone needs to learn all the 4 different types of your cotton. So just tell me the genus name of your cotton.
Gossypium.
Gossipy.
It's to
Yeah. So what about pigeon pea? Scientific name?
Kajanus cousin.
Kajanus
Yeah,
kajan.
Cajanus cousin. So pigeon pea is also known as arhar, right? And triticale, what is the scientific name of triticale?
It is scientific name, I think.
Triticale itself is scientific name. So from the triticum and from the sickle cereal, it became triticale, right? Am I right?
Yes, sir.
The
Yes,
tritic
sir.
came from the triticum, and then the kale, it came from the sickle cereal, right? Wheat, when crossed with rye, it ultimately produced the triticale. And also do remember who produced the triticale, okay? You guys need to
Rimpa.
count.
Rimpa.
Yeah, Rimpa. Please do remember everything. And see, the examples are most important thing. You need to remember examples along with the scientific names followed by the chromosome number. And there were one question in when I attempted my JRF. Which of the following is a self-pollinated crop? They gave all the scientific names. Okay, I'll read out the scientific names. One is Zea maize, and second it was Oryza sativa. Third it was we call sorghum bicolor, and fourth it was Eleusine corcana. And the options were A, B, C, D, D, A, and then B, D. So which is the correct option among these? Which of the following follows self-pollination? First is Zea maize, Oryza sativa, sorghum bicolor, and Eleusine corcana. Which of the following option is correct?
B.
Okay. A, B. Someone said A, B, and someone said B, D. See, Zia maize, it follows cross pollination, so you can eliminate this. And sorghum bicolor, it follows often cross pollinated, you can eliminate this. So, Oryza sativa, what is Oryza sativa?
Paddy, rice,
Rice.
Then what is Elysian corcan?
ragi,
Ragi.
So, these two follow, what do you call that, self pollination? Okay. So these see, the examples are most important thing, and it is most scoring chapter is your modes of reproduction pollination. No one should make mistake when you attempt the questions from this chapter. And now we will see what are the mechanisms favoring
Why
autogamy.
there are no hybrid?
So autogamy means, what do you call this? Which pollination?
Self-pollination.
Yeah, self-pollinated crops. So there are 5 different mechanisms. One is homogamy. So hope you know what do you mean by homogamy. Anyone, just briefly. What do you mean by homogamy?
Same maturation.
Is my audio clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. For everyone, right? Any
Yes, sir.
other can. Yeah, okay, okay.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. So what do you mean by homogamy?
Immature at the same time.
Hello? Maturation at the same time, right? So what maturation at the same?
Pistil and stamen.
Okay. So the male and female reproductive parts, they mature at the same. Yeah.
So when you're explaining, your voice is feeble.
My voice is. Okay. Now is it clear or not?
Now it's clear, sir.
Okay. You can just interrupt at any time and tell me. Okay. So whenever my voice breaks. So homogamy is nothing but maturation of the male and female reproductive organs or male and female reproductive parts at the same time. And what do you call the condition cleistogamy? Someone said in the previous slide, cleistogamous flower. What do you mean by cleistogamy?
When flowers do not open.
And flowers do not open. Okay. Flower do not open. See, this is a case where it ensures 99% of self-pollination, means mostly self-pollination is favored by cleistogamous type of flowers, where the flowers do not open at all. Even after pollination, the flowers do not open. And what are the examples to this cleistogamy? Anyone? What are the examples to cleistogamous flowers?
Grass, wheat,
Yeah.
barley.
So just remember, most of the plants belong into grass family, that is graminae, like wheat, oat, barley, even rice. They all come under the cleistogamous flowers. And what do you mean by chasmogamous condition?
Flowers open.
Yeah, chasmogamous, tell me.
Flower open after pollination.
Okay, so flowers open only after pollination, right? Only pollination ensures flower opening. This is one mechanism which promotes self-pollination. And then see, there are other two different stride terms. One, it is the orientation of the anther. Okay, so for example, let us take an example of tomato and brinjal. In these two crops, the stigma, it is completely surrounded by the anther. Okay, the orientation of your anther. This ensures self-pollination. This was the direct SRF question. in 2021 batch. So please do remember orientation of the anthers in tomato and brinjal. The orientation is in such a way that the stigma it is completely covered by your anthers. So whenever the anthers dies, the pollen it directly falls on the stigma and it ensures the self pollination. Okay. And do you read about the pulses? Pulses. The pulses flower it consists of two different petals. One is your keel petal, and what do you call the other one?
Karina.
Hello. Yeah, one is keel petal and one is wing petal. Yeah. See, whenever the flower visits, yes, whenever the bee or some insect which visits the flower, the mechanism is in such a way that pulses they ensure self pollination. Okay, the arrangement of floral organs are in such a way that they ensure the self pollination. And some other questions in chat box are, so rice come under clistogamy or chasmogamy? See, rice comes under both clistogamous as well as chasmogamous because sometimes, even in case of rice, the what do you call that? The flower it opens immediately after the anthers dies. Okay, is it okay, Aparna? So rice comes under both clistogamous as well as the chasmogamous. In most of the books, you can find the rice example under both clistogamous as well as chasmogamous, but predominantly it is in clistogamous. Okay, hope you understood the clistogamous, chasmogamous, orientation of the anthers. The most important example for this one is tomato and brinjal. It was a direct question in 2021 SRF. And then arrangement of the floral organs in case of your pulses, which has two keel petal and one wing petal, which ultimately ensures the self-pollination. So if a plant continuously undergo self-pollination, okay, so will it increases the homozygosity or decreases the homozygosity?
Increases.
Yeah, it increases the homozygosity. Even this was the direct question, okay. So autogamy, it increases the homozygosity condition. Please do remember it. So these are the different mechanisms that we covered under autogamy, and now we will enter to allogamy. So allogamy means cross pollination, right? See, cross pollination it also has another name. What do you call it? Other than allogamy, cross pollination, there is another term.
Xenogamy.
Xenogamy. Please remember all these terms. Xenogamy. So there are different type of mechanisms. Among these different mechanisms, self-incompatibility and male sterility, we will see them very clearly in a detailed manner. Okay. So what do you mean by diclemy? Or it is written directly here, unisexuality. So how do you define it? Define in the terms of your plant. Anyone? Diclemy.
Flowers are either male or female.
Yeah. Only flowers. So male and female. See, diclemy is again divided into two different conditions. One is your Munishi and Daishi. Based upon this itself, the male and female partitioning. So when we will see Munishi condition, what is the Munishi condition? You come on, do answer. You can answer it.
When both
we will
male and
see,
female flowers are present on same plant.
yeah, on the same plant, right? If both
Yes, sir.
male and female flowers are located on the same plant, we call it as Munishi condition. And if the male flower is located on the one plant and the female flower is located on the another plant. In order to simplify, the male plant and female plant are separate, right? This condition is known as dioecious condition. So what are the examples for monoecious and what are the examples for your dioecious conditions?
Maize for monas.
Okay, maize, still,
Cucurbits.
Castor,
castor, right, castor,
Cucurbits, sir.
cucurbit. Yeah, see also
Grape.
remember mango, banana and coconut, the 3 fruit crops. Okay, maize, castor, cucurbits, they are the examples of your monoecious and dioecious. What is your examples for dioecious?
Spinach.
Still, spinach, date palm,
Papaya.
papaya,
still spinach, date palm, papaya. Do you know about a crop named asparagus?
Yes.
Asparagus. So these are all the examples of your dioecious plants. Okay, this it generally favors your allogamy. See, maize is a crop which has getonogamy type of pollination, but it is given under allogamy because people say that getonogamy is genetically self-pollination, but in a physical or mechanical way, we can call it as cross-pollination. Okay, don't confuse with it. Genetically self-pollinated and physically or mechanically cross-pollinated mechanism, the term is known as getonogamy. If it is both physically and genetically cross-pollinated, what do you call the term?
Xenogamy.
Xenogamy. Okay, so please do remember, getonogamy is genetically self, but physically or mechanically cross. But xenogamy is both genetically as well as your physically the cross-pollinated mechanism. So in autogamy, you told about homogamy. In case of allogamy, there is another term known as dichogamy. What do you mean by it? Dichogamy.
mature at different times.
Yeah, maturation at the different times. So we have both the male as well as your female organs. So if the female reproductive part matures soon, what do you call it?
Protogyny,
It
Prototype.
is known as protogyny, and if your male part matures soon, it is known as your protandry. So please do also remember the examples for protogyny and protandry. So one of the most important example for your protogyny is bajra. Okay. So what is the scientific name of bajra?
Penicetum glaucum,
Penicitum glaucum, americanum, etc. Bajra is also known as your pearl millet. And one other most important example of protandry, which also follows getonogamy. What is it?
Maize.
It is your
maize,
maize, zea maize. Okay. So please do also remember the other examples such as for protogyny, it might be bajra, brinjal, castor, and in case of your protandry, it is your maize, sugar beet, okay, and marigold, maize, sugar beet, marigold, etc. And how? So, did you heard about the term heterostyly? Anyone? Heterostyly.
Yes, sir.
So, what do you mean by heterostyly?
Different length. Hetero means different, and style means
Okay. Okay. The length
length
of
of
the style.
stigma.
Yeah, the style, not the stigma. This is the style. Okay, the length of the style is different. Okay, then the styles in a flower. Okay, in a flower, there are of different length. This mechanism also ensures your allogamy. And one most important example for this heterostyly is your linseed. Okay, scientific name of your linseed is Linum species or Linum statum something. So this is one important example. And Harkogamy. So what is the
Barrier,
mechanism?
sir. Barrier.
Yeah, there is some barrier or hindrance to what?
Barrier between male and female reproductive. Third thing.
Yeah, there is one membrane which is known as the hyaline membrane. Okay, hyaline membrane which is present around the anther, and this prevents the self-pollination and directly favors your cross-pollination. This can be seen in alfalfa. Okay, heterostyle can be seen in linseed, and harkogamy it can be seen in alfalfa. See, in every JRF there will be one question from heterostyle example or harkogamy example, or clistogamous or chasmogamous, and the orientation of your anthers, etc. From all, see, these chapter is most, what do you call that, scoring chapter. You need not to miss any question from these chapters. So dicliny, it is a condition where male and female reproductive parts are separated. It might be on the same plant but by different flowers. In case of your dioecious conditions, it is completely on the different plants. Dichogamy, which means maturation at the different times. So if the female matures first, it is protogyny. If male, it is protandry. And heterostyly, difference in the length of the style, which can be seen in linseed, and harkogamy, which is your hindrance or a barrier due to the hyaline membrane, which is present around the anther, and it can be seen in alfalfa. And two other great mechanisms. One is self-incompatibility and male sterility. So how do you define self-incompatibility?
Non-functional pollen.
Inability of functional pollen.
Yeah, see, it is
Sir,
not non-functional
pollen is
pollen.
functional.
Yeah, pollen is functional,
Functional.
but it is not able to pollinate your female plant or female whatever you called. Okay, the pollen is functional, but it is not able to pollinate. This
Okay,
condition
sir.
is known as self-incompatibility. So what do you call male sterility then? Male sterility is direct condition of your non-functional pollen. The pollen produced itself is not in a condition to pollinate. It is a defective pollen. Okay. So the main difference between these two is here the pollen is functional, here the pollen itself is non-functional. And last thing is that heterozygosity, cross-pollination always favors heterozygosity. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So cross-pollination always favors heterozygosity. See the with this I will conclude the chapter of both sexual reproduction and modes of pollination from here. Okay. So one important thing that you need to remember throughout this chapter is examples. Examples are most important thing. Examples with their scientific names and chromosome number. So this thing, and I also want to tell about two things. One is pollinator and the other is pollinizer. Do anyone know the difference between pollinator and pollinizer? Anyone? What is the difference between pollinator and pollinizer? Anyone? What is the difference between pollinator or pollinizer? Okay, see, pollinizer is a plant that provides the pollen. Then how would you define pollinator?
The agent that pollinates.
Yeah, the agent that pollinates is the pollinator. It can be anything. It can be the wind, water, or any animal, fly, etc. So if pollination takes place through wind, what do you call it? And if pollination takes place through water, what do you call it?
Right.
Anemophily and hydrophily.
Through wind is anemophily.
Anemophily. And through water, it is known as hydrophily. So what is the example of anemophily, which also follows geitonogamy, and it also
Maize.
has the monoecious type of flowers? Yeah, maize. This question was asked many times in JRF. Okay, Anemophilous type of pollination, which has monoecious flowers and follows geitonogamy. It is maize. Maize, also known as Gia maize, with chromosome number 2n is equals to 20. Okay, so please do remember, it was not mentioned in any book, the difference between the pollinator and pollinizer. So pollinizer is a plant that provides the pollen, and pollinator is the agent which helps in pollination. Okay. So with this, I'll be concluding the modes of reproduction and pollination chapter. If you guys have any doubt, you can just ask me or you can type in the chat box. So hope everyone are clear about this chapter, and I'm very sure that you are going to score marks in this chapter, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Any doubt, any kind of doubt. See, I'll also repeat the doubts that are once asked, like, sir, some references say geitonogamy is under cross pollination. Yes, geitonogamy in terms of physical and mechanism, they classify under cross pollination, but genetically it is self pollination. Okay. And rice comes under clistogamous or chasmogamous. So rice comes under both clistogamous as well as chasmogamous. But if options were provided as both clistogamous and chasmogamous, you guys need to pick clistogamous. Okay. So predominantly it is clistogamous. These were the two doubts. And if, yeah,
Sir, is there 100% self-pollination in Ragi?
100% self pollination in ragi. See, ragi flowers, there are very, very small, right? So this
Yes.
might ensure, I can't say 100% self pollination, but it is 99% self pollination.
But there are no hybrids in Ragi.
Yeah, there are no hybrids in ragi. There are no hybrids in wheat. It does
Okay.
not mean that ragi does not have cross pollination. Even rice was not predominantly the cross pollinated. It was self pollinated, but scientists developed the hybrids in rice. You know about the mechanism of emasculation, collecting the pollen and then dropping it on the stigma, right?
Okay.
Yeah. So up to this, they will not be like these questions that I asked you, 100% self pollination or 99% self pollination. Okay, only one crop which ensures always self pollination is your groundnut. Okay, please do remember it.
Okay.
People will ask you just to test your knowledge about the concept. So tell me a crop which always has 100% self pollination. It is your groundnut. Okay, and also
Sir, why
please to
there is no
remember
hybrid in Ragi?
ragi. See, even I can't answer the question, but there might be some projects going on to develop hybrids. Okay,